Okay, great. We are live here for the second segment of Quantum Leap, and I just thought of a little tagline for Erich Harris, the hardest working man in Oakland here with Maisel Property Management. He's a property manager and a realtor, and he does a number of other things. And I did want to both Cory and I know Erich well, and he's actually done some coaching for Erich for with Cory, and he has done. I do some work for him on videos and photos of properties. So we actually did this great composite photo that I know is in Money Pages, and it's a beautiful marketing piece. But I have so much to say. I didn't want to I want to have Erich introduce himself first, but first I wanted to if ask Cory to introduce himself and tell us how you know Erich and with some of the work that you've done together.
Hey everyone, Cory and I here, business coach with Take Wing Coaching. Well, I know Erich clearly through BNI. Obviously, we've been in the chapter together for a while. I did do some coaching for him for a while. I think that was great, and we had a good success. And Erich's got a very, very busy life. We're going to hear more about that today. And then he also helped me with possibly renting some properties in Oakland, which shifted over to a sale. And he brought some amazing resources to the table. And so I've really gotten to know Erich over the last couple of years as just an amazing businessman in Oakland. And he has a big heart too. And he doesn't talk about it enough, but I know he's got some big plans.
Yeah, former veteran as well. And Erich, how are you today? And we just wanted to see if you could introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what you do in your story.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I am Cory and David. I'm Erich Harris, and I'm a Oakland grown product, even though my dad was in the military, so I've lived a lot of different places. So I grew up in Oakland, went to Bishop O'Dowd High School. Then I went to Cal. I was in ROTC. When I came out of ROTC, when I graduated, I went on to serve active duty. Went to airborne school and ranger school. I was a field artillery officer. Then came out of the military, worked for, at first I worked as a hard carrier because I wanted to be a carpenter. But, the commute was a little rough, going all the way to Pleasanton for training. And then I took a job with the Internal Revenue Service, interpreting tax law, helping people with payment arrangements. Then from there, I went on, I had my own moving company with a buddy from college. And then I worked for New United Motors, started on the line and went into management and worked there for 10 years, building trucks. And I really enjoyed, I'm a physical and cerebral person. So I like physical and mental at the same time. So that was the perfect job. We built a lot of trucks at NUMMI. While I was there, I got my real estate license. So when the plant closed in 2010, I went into real estate full time. Then I became a broker. And then I actually, my broker sold me his property management business in 2018, a business that had already been established for about 28 years at that time. So it's a corporation. So, and I had been doing it with them for about 10 years prior to that. So I'm a real estate broker. You have to be to own a property management company, and so we manage about 300 units, actually more now, but in Oakland, Berkeley, San Leandro, Hayward, one in Sacramento, and I am a broker representing buyers and sellers. A lot of times my existing clients want to sell their property or purchase more property, or do 1031 exchanges. I'm doing that right now, and under the gun looking for another property within, it was 180 days, now it's about 170 days. So I'm feeling the pressure on that. But yeah, it's a great business. I'm married, married my high school sweetheart, Karen, been married for 32 years, 3 sons. One of the sons works in the business. And so that's about me. I think that's a little soundbite about me.
Yeah, great. And I think one thing I really notice about you is that I like is you're such a straight shooter, and you're such a great people person too. Like every time we meet up, you're kind of, here's what we got to do and let's get it done. And it's just such a joy to work with you. So I know people see that, your clients see that. And you also seems like you have the really a area of folks that you work with in Oakland, that kind of central area of Oakland. You manage a lot of those units and sell, or I could be wrong. Do you work in what would you say your territory is there for if somebody has a property in Oakland, where would a good property or ideal client be for you?
Well, most of our properties are in the East Bay. However, my license is good all over the state of California. So eventually we want to expand across the bridge, North Bay, but most of our properties are in the East Bay now. So that's our target area for managing property. And I would like to say that we with Maisel Property Management, we focus on managing complete property management as well as tenant placement. When somebody has a property, they manage it, but they need to place a tenant. We do that as well as project management. So people have properties that are non-performing, they're not making any money, they're rentals. Then we get it up to speed, get it work on it. We're finishing off a big project in the Hayward Hills, 4-bedroom, 2-bath house that required a lot of work: new roof, new flooring, new concrete driveway in the front and back, new backyard. So it was a big project. So, but it's beautiful. We do that as well. That's what we do with Maisel.
Yeah, and I called you the hardest working man in Oakland because I see all that you do, because we kind of have worked with each other. I see you work with a lot of contractors. You have a big team. There's always a lot going on in your office. So I think I know. I don't know if you have any comments on some of maybe the challenges in this crazy real estate market and how you can kind of help people with those challenges.
Absolutely. Well, one of the biggest challenges in management, I like to call it, it's a term called fraternization. And it's a term that I learned when I was a young officer in the military. And what it means is you can't get too close to the people that you lead. You can't go and party with guys who you can't be partying last night with a guy and then today you're telling him to attack a hill, or we use a lot of expletives, but we had a very nice way to say it, but you can't, it doesn't really work. I don't have friends like that. So how do I relate that to property management? It usually works better for landlords to have an arm's length distance from their tenants, not to get too personal, not to get too buddy with your tenants, because it's business and there's a lot of issues that go on, from non-paying payment of rent to issues between tenants, property issues, things have to be fixed. It's not always, so the challenge is to be civil and to be friendly, but also you have to have a business demeanor. You have to be able to take care of business. So that's what I would say one of the biggest challenges. And then also the market's changing. Right now rents are a little stagnant. There's a lot of inventory. If you drive around Oakland or different places in San Francisco, you'll see for rent signs. 5 years ago, you didn't see many for rent signs. But one of the things that people don't know is that there was just last year, there was a 400% increase in Oakland alone of new apartment construction. So what does that mean? More inventory. The more inventory leads to lower prices. People who used to be on Section 8 getting places in East Oakland now are getting Section 8 units in a brand new unit that was built within walking distance to bars downtown Oakland. So the market's changing. They weren't the original target, but when the pandemic hit and people could buy property in Sacramento or work from home anywhere, then a lot of those people they were counting on living in the metropolitan areas moved further out to the suburbs and more rural areas. So that affected the market. It made more inventory available, which lowered prices.
Great. I was gonna turn it over to Cory. I was gonna ask Cory if you have anything to add about Eric, working with Eric. I do think he is very well suited for what he does, and that's what I was trying to get at in kind of a long-winded way.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll just give one quick story. So when we first got the houses from my cousin's estate, and we had a tenant living in one, so a life tenant. So we couldn't put them on the market to sell. We really had we were thinking, okay, this guy might live for many years. Let's go ahead and rent the other houses. And so we prepped one house, and Eric really helped a lot with that. And we got it ready for rental, and Eric put it on the market, and he told me, we'll put it on the market for 4,000. And I thought, that's insane. I thought, there's no way this thing's going to go for more than like 3,300 or something. And he got it. He got somebody who came in with an application at that rate. And it didn't take long, maybe about a month. So unfortunately, that was also the day that we decided to go ahead and sell the properties. So, we turned that down because the life tenant went away. But again, Eric brought the resources to the table a couple months later. So as a property manager, he's amazing. As a real estate broker and agent, he's definitely on the top there. So the question is then, Eric, given all this and your decision to go into real estate, why would you say it is that you do what you do?
Other than, I would say I've been a capitalist ever since I was little. When I was growing up, I always had a business, a paper route. I actually got a driving paper route that my older brothers worked, that I employed my older brothers. And then I had, my firewood business in college. Then I had a moving company. So I've always had, I used to clean houses in my parents' neighborhood. I put out made flyers up and went to all the neighborhood houses. I could wash the windows, I could do that. And then I would say, I used to hate to ask my parents for money. To be honest, that was like my initial impetus that, my dad was kind of hard, I'd rather earn my own money. So that was the initial reason. But I would say now, I have a mission, I would say, over and above making money and that helps families. I employ at least 6 families. So it helps these families. And my vision is to employ thousands of people, but using the skills that God has given me in order to do that. But also, I'm impacted. Just this weekend we had a community health and wealth fair at Liberation Park, which is at the corner of 73rd and Foothill, right in the heart of East Oakland. But the focus was to educate the community on first on vaccines. The community is suffering in that area, vaccinations, and also different aspects of health, high blood pressure, diabetes, and also obviously COVID, but also to educate on wealth building. So we have people talking about, how to start a business, first-time home buyers, 1031 exchange, property management, but building, one of the ironically, the director of Osita Health, who we partnered with for that event, who did the testing, the director said that, hey, no matter what your plans are in life and in the future, well, you're not going to accomplish them if you're dead. If you're not healthy, if you're not, taking care of your body, then it's pretty hard to live out some of your dreams. So I'm passionate about the community. I'm passionate about, I like to see people sleeping on the sidewalk. So I really am focused. One of the things that I do with our resources is my dream is to build and we're already working on it, facilities to house people in Oakland. I grew up in Oakland, so that's where we'll start. If it does well, maybe it'll go to other cities. But I believe that, that especially business people, we have the resources in order to be able to do that, get people off the street, and improve their life, improve their, their feelings about themselves and their families. So that's what I'm passionate about.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. You did share a few trends that are going on kind of in the real estate industry in the Bay Area. Do you have anything else that might be going on in Oakland, especially now as COVID has settled down, some of the tech workers are kind of forced back into the office, and just, what are you seeing?
Well, we're seeing that there are some people there. Some people have really made a mistake where they bought property in Rio Vista or Sacramento, but they work in San Francisco, and the employer says, "Hey, time to come back."
Right.
So there are people returning, and I'm seeing a slight uptick in price. Rent prices are kind of stabilizing. I would say it's not going down too much. It's going up a little bit, and a little bit more demand for rentals, but also a demand with the other big thing is with COVID and the moratorium on evictions, which technically ended on September 30th. However, the City Council of Oakland said that it doesn't end until the moratorium is over, and they determine when that's over. So you have a lot of frustrated landlords who have tenants with back rent. I'm getting a lot of interest in property management, so more so than normal at this time of year. So interpreting the law, negotiating with tenants, dealing with the tenants. So I'm getting a much more interest in that from a landlord standpoint.
And who would you say then is your ideal client?
My ideal client is people who have rental property that's non-performing. They have rental property that they're not making money from it because it's not ready to go. Also, landlords that have rental property, they're receiving rents, they're managing it themselves, but they're tired, they're stressed out managing it. And also people who are, the average rental price in Oakland is, average price to purchase a home now is $800,000. With the sewer lateral ordinance and the sidewalk ordinance, won't get into those, but they're just suffice it to say that those are additional hurdles to home ownership. More and more people are considering buying multi-unit properties, 2 to 4 units where they live in one unit and the other tenants help them pay the mortgage in the other unit. And that allows people to become homeowners and to start building their equity, growing their real estate wealth. And a lot of those people don't want to be landlords. They have no knowledge of it. They don't know what to do. And as I said earlier, it's really good in those situations to have an arm's length distance. So I have owners who the other tenant thinks they're a tenant just like them, but they're the owner. But so that's those are the people that we're looking for for property management.
Cool.
Great. Well put. Well, we'll let you get to your 2 o'clock meeting with time to spare. How's that for keeping running a tight ship?
You run a tight ship there, Cory, and I appreciate you, Cory, too. So you've been very effective in my business, the coaching I've received from you. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I remember I was a little afraid of you at first. Erich is definitely, the go-getter, get out there, get it done, do. And I'm a little more laid back. I'm a little more cerebral, but I think we connected quite well. And sometimes we need those different perspectives. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you can't.
But Erich is definitely a thinker. He definitely has that going for him. So.
Well, good. Yeah,
He
is a big picture thinker, and he's
yeah.
a doer and a go-getter. Yeah, so that's another reason why I like him. But we'll leave it there for today. Thanks for coming on, Erich, and hopefully you can put this on your LinkedIn or something. I think it was a great broadcast. So good work.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you both.
Bye, everyone.